It's Paloma from Betterment, Better Me Natural Transformations, and our topic today is broken glass. What does that have to do with anything? Good question. A couple of weeks ago, my mom and I were talking about the past, which we often do. We talk about how can we heal the past? How can we choose to live differently instead of repeating the same patterns over and over again from the past? How can we choose how we want to show up, how we want to live, what we want to attract and have and be in life? And we were discussing in particular a person whose actions have caused a lot of pain, a lot of damage in our family. And we were talking about some of our frustrations about those situations, about those actions, and of course, we end up talking about how irritated we are about this or that or whatever. And I started to look at it in a slightly different way, which really surprised me myself, actually. But I thought, why did that happen? And why am I feeling the way that I do about this situation, about this person? Because I can't go back and change it. I can change going forward, but I can't change what happened. And what do I really want to carry going forward from that situation? Do I really want to carry all of that anger and that hurt and that resentment? Not really. It's really heavy. It's really burdensome to carry those things. So how can I look at it differently to lessen the burden? And all of a sudden, this mental image came to mind of broken glass. And I realized that this person, just like many people in life, they're broken. If there's glass on the floor that's broken and you step on it, did it attack you? Did it mean to hurt you? Did it disrespect you? No, it just was broken. And you came into contact with it and it hurt you. It really does hurt. Now, that's not to say that no one ever intends to hurt you. Sometimes they do. That's another matter. But sometimes people are just broken and they have sharp edges, rough edges. And when you come into contact with them, when something that you say or do, something that you are, comes into contact with who they are and where they're at, their rough edges, their sharp points, it hurts you a lot. I once got a piece of glass, tiny piece of glass in my foot, and I tried to get it out and I couldn't. Finally, I was a kid. My mom took me to the doctor and the doctor was very irritated. Why are you bringing in this kid? It's my lunch hour and I have to still work because you couldn't get out a piece of glass. 30 minutes later, the doctor finally had found the piece of glass in my foot. It took 30 minutes to find it. It was a tiny piece of glass. That piece of glass wasn't trying to hurt me. It wasn't trying to cause injury. It wasn't trying to damage me. It wasn't being disrespectful. It wasn't saying, Paloma, I don't like you. It just was there and it was broken and I stepped on it and it hurt a lot. It hurt a lot. It bled a lot also. And emotionally, the same thing happens. When we come into contact with those people who are hurting, who are broken, it hurts us. And emotionally, sometimes we bleed a lot. And sometimes, yes, people are broken and they use their broken pieces to hurt us, and they do that on purpose. And is that okay? Of course not. Of course not. But it happens. And sometimes it doesn't happen on purpose. And regardless of whether or not it does, can we just choose to look at it differently and to look, okay, you know what? That person was broken and it hurt a lot, but I'm going to choose to heal. My foot is still not bleeding 20 some years later. It's not still bleeding. My foot is fine. My foot has healed. I don't even think I have a scar. Do we have to hold on to all of that forever? I hope not, because I don't really want to carry all that around. Do you? So now, if we're thinking about it as broken glass, these people are just broken and it hurts us when we come into contact with them, fine. Does that mean we have to walk on the glass? We have to keep it? No. If you saw glass on the ground, would you walk on it on purpose? Probably not. You would go around it, certainly. Maybe you would try to sweep it up and clean it up. And maybe if it's something really precious, you would keep the pieces and try to glue it back together. Right? Repair it, fix it, keep it, save it. So who is this person that's broken? Who is that person to you? There are people in my life who are very broken, but they're precious to me. And so I would do anything to sweep up the broken pieces and glue them back together for them. Sometimes we can do that. Sometimes we can help them apply the glue. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes this person doesn't want to be put back together. Sometimes we don't have the power or the knowledge or the skills to be able to sweep up the pieces and put them back together. So maybe sometimes we need to just remove the pieces of broken glass from our lives. Maybe sometimes we just need to go around it. Maybe other times we can sweep up the pieces and hold them in our heart so that there's that space and that energy for that person to be protected, to protect other people, or at least protect ourselves from stepping on those broken pieces again until they can glue themselves back together. Maybe then we can help them. Maybe we can even help them now to glue some of those pieces back together. But when we're hurt, it's not every time that that pain is an attack, that pain, that the bleeding was caused because someone doesn't like us, because someone hates us. Sometimes that's not the case at all. Sometimes it's just because they're broken. And that doesn't mean that we have to continue to allow them to cut us and to hurt us with their sharp points and their rough edges. We don't. But maybe we can shift that perspective a little bit so that we can let go of some of that pain, so that we can start to heal, so that we don't have to hold on to it forever and be draining our resources emotionally, which is what happens when we're bleeding emotionally, right? Our resources are just draining away. We get to conserve all of that. That's part of being resilient. Did you watch that video? I'll see if I can link it. It's part of being resilient. It's part of being able to absorb the energy of what's happening and then letting it go, so that we don't always have to be hurt by other people's bits of broken glass. Is that a new thought for you? How do you do that? How do you apply that? How do you choose to look at it when people hurt you? Because people hurt us all the time. It happens all the time. People say things that hurt us, and we have to be able to deal with it. That's not always easy. It's not always been easy for me. Sometimes it still isn't easy for me. But this little perspective shift helped me a lot, and I hope it helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe and share and do all of those things, and let us know how this impacts you, how you feel about it, how you can apply this information. And let us know too, if you have a question, if there's something that you feel like you need to shift your perspective on something, but you're not really sure how to do it, or you need someone to come up with a new way to describe something, a new picture for it, so that you can kind of shift that perspective, put something in the comments and let us see what we can do for you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Please enjoy the rest of your night or your day, and take a look at the people around you and see where their rough edges and those sharp points are, and just avoid them where you can, and try to see it just as a piece of broken glass instead of as an attack, and see how that changes your day. Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.